Welcome to this session of Within the Shadow of the Galilean. Time after time, Jesus present and remembered. The title is inspired by the music of Cyndi Lauper. We will be drawing on the work of an author named Bruce J. Malina, who wrote a book called The New Testament World: Insights from Cultural Anthropology. We are going to be exploring two different understandings of time, helping us, I hope, stand within the shadow of Jesus. So let's get started. Have you ever stopped to wonder what time is? Now they're talking about not just time, but space-time and how space and time are connected. But we're going to use a basic definition of time as our understanding of how we organize the past into the present and how this affects our understanding of a possible future. So in an everyday understanding of time, we have three components: a past, a present, and a future. During this session, we're going to look at a future-focused present understanding of time and a past-focused understanding of time. In the United States, you could say we live in an individualized, future-focused, present time culture, where the emphasis is on the individual. And we are future focused. We're oriented towards the future. And we assume that there is a worldwide consistency to how time is understood. And that time runs second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour. You could call it watch time. So let's explore this a little further. We are future-oriented people. In a way that means, while we have a past, the past is disconnected and does not influence us as we move into the future. As they say, we can pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, or we can start over. Or what happened in the past does not have to dictate our future. Those are the kind of statements that somebody can make when they're facing towards the future. And in a society where a person's past can always be overcome. The length of an individual's present is based on achievable goals. If a person gets up in the morning, goes to work, comes home, hangs out, goes to bed, they're living day by day. If you live paycheck by paycheck, you may live week by week. For an elementary student, the achievable goal may be making it through first grade or second grade. Once you're in fourth grade, it may be graduating from elementary school and going to middle school. When you're in middle school, it may last until you have achieved going to high school. When I was young, as far as I could look ahead was to get enough money to ride my bike down to the drugstore and buy the latest comic book I wanted to buy. When I started my career, I decided to set aside money that would help me one day retire. Both of those have different achievable horizons. One is a couple hours. The other one is multiple years. So here's a couple takeaways. First, as a culture and as individuals in a culture, normally we live future-focused, present lives. And we live our lives daily, weekly, and yearly, making achievable goals that usually give us a sense of linear chronological time. But there is a different way of understanding time, what I'm going to call a generational, past, focus, present understanding of time. This was the only way of understanding time in the ancient world, and it is still the way some people in the world today understand time. From an individual, future-focused understanding of time, present time and the presence of an individual lasts the lifetime of an individual, but in generational, past focus understanding of time, present time and the presence of an individual lasts for generations. So let's use the life of Jesus as an example. While Jesus was alive, he began and nurtured discipleship communities, and he was present with them. He was also remembered by them. And then he maybe come back for a second visit and would leave, and what he said and did was remembered. Jesus was present and remembered during his lifetime. But after his death, as long as there were people who heard what he said and saw what he did, he was considered present among those discipleship communities, because it is a generational sense of time. As long as there's somebody within the primary group who remembers the presence of a person firsthand, they are considered present within that primary group. And even when the people who were part of the first generation die off and a third generation begins, if there are people from the second generation who heard firsthand what Jesus said and did and could convey that to the third generation of discipleship communities, from a generational present understanding, Jesus is literally still present with them. So for us who live in the 21st century, Jesus' death ends his presence. But 2,000 years ago, from a generational time perspective, Jesus remains present within the community of disciples for generations. But as you're looking at the screen, we still don't have it right. This is a future-focused generational view. What would it look like if it was a past-focused generational view? This is what a past-present focus understanding of time looks like. And it looks backwards to us. The present is focused toward the past. And because it's focused to the past, it looks like it's going in a circle. And it kind of is. But it is more like a honkin' big ox cart wheel slowly going down the trail that is moving forward as it is going around. And with a past-present focus, both the past and the future are directed toward the present with a past-present focus. The past becomes crucial because it gives people in the present mythical imagination that then gives them mythical possibilities for the future. Let me give you an example. In the time of Jesus, they were talking about King David and the return of King David, or the return of Moses, or the return of Elijah, or the return of John the Baptist, or the return of Jesus. From a modern day, future-focused present, none of us are hoping for the return of a George Washington, or an Abraham Lincoln, or a John Kennedy, or even maybe a Barack Obama. None of them, we are thinking, are going to be running for president sometime in the near future. Let me use a concrete example from the time of Jesus. From the Hebrew sacred story, in the book of Daniel, we get a phrase called the Son of Man that becomes a significant phrase for the Jewish people during the lifetime of Jesus. And it seems Jesus uses this title for himself because it talks about possibilities of the future. It is a phrase that is from a mythical past that allows people in the present to consider mythical possibilities, one like the Son of Man coming in the clouds. The gospel writers pick up this phrase, and we will too in our next session, the Son of Man on the move.